Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
And a good morning, everyone. It is Coffee and time here on ON Radio, Thursday morning, March the 19th. We want to say happy St. Joseph's Day to those who go out and celebrate. It's not like St. Patrick's Day where the Irish come out and start drinking like crazy. What do the Italians do on St. Joseph's Day? We just eat the zeppolas and that's
I was
it?
watching it this morning.
Yeah, but you can't get drunk on that, can you?
No, but it said this morning that a woman from the Italian historical whatever, formerly from, and she said, so we eat zeppolas, and I'm like, oh, okay. And red is what they're supposed to wear.
Yeah, that's correct. That's right. So, and I didn't do any of that. So, oh well. What are you gonna do?
Neither did I. My red phone case. That's about it. That's
about it. That's Sue Tester McKenzie, everyone. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
Bob Lauder is here as well. Good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
All right, Bob. Sorry, we're going to start off with sports. So
sports.
Just
I can hardly wait.
Just nod your head up and down like you agree with everything. But this is local stuff, and it's got to do, out of tragedy sometimes comes great stuff, and it's the Blackstone Valley Prep boys hockey team. They were on the ice where the shooter happened down in Pawtucket, where the shooter shot his ex-wife and his ex-brother-in-law and his ex-father-in-law and his ex-mother-in-law, and killed his ex-wife and the brother-in-law and the grandfather. While his son, what's that?
You said brother-in-law. I thought one of the brothers was killed.
You're right. I got it wrong. So it's ex-wife, his ex-father-in-law, and a son. Yes. Well, his other son was playing hockey on the ice. So and put the ex grandmother in. I think is still in the hospital. I haven't heard if she's been discharged or not. But anyway, a couple of days ago, the team goes back to keep playing, and Colin Dorgan, who was the player on the ice, scores the game-winning goal for his team that sends them to the state championship in Division II. And the state championship game was last night, played down in Providence at the AMP, which is pretty cool. And it's the Blackstone Valley Prep team, which consists of St. Ray's and North Smithfield and North Providence, against Lincoln. And doesn't the Blackstone Valley Prep team win in quadruple overtime?
Wow.
I don't get the quadruple overtime.
Keep playing until someone scores. These kids are going to be exhausted.
Yeah, but okay, you just explained it. So
it's the final game.
Typically, it's just until somebody scores.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that, Bob, I'm at your level right now because I don't really understand hockey.
Rule? Okay.
So basically, I know in every game it's whoever gets the winning score, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was just some of the wording that I didn't understand, made it sound like, so they scored in this, but then they came back and scored another, and that's what confused me. So you just said it, that it was...
Yes, Lincoln was winning 2-0 going into the third period. Blackstone Valley Prep scores 2 goals in the third period to send it into overtime. Colin Dorgan is the one that scores the game that sent it into overtime.
Gotcha.
Wow. It goes to a fourth overtime. A teammate of his scores in the fourth overtime, so they win the state championship. So good for them. Mm-hmm. And it had to be tough for Lincoln too to go up against these kids as well. Another cool thing that happened: the Blackstone Valley Prep team, they are the Knights, KINIGHT, and they base their insignia, their jerseys, after the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So that's what their jerseys look like. Well, the TV play-by-play guy for the Las Vegas Golden Knights is a man by the name of Dave Gosher. Dave's from Pawtucket.
No.
Yes, he is.
Oh, wow.
And he was the Providence Bruins radio play-by-play guy for a number of years. Got bumped up to the Boston Bruins radio play-by-play guy for a number of years. And then the Vegas Golden Knights came into existence, and he went for the TV play-by-play gig and got it. So he's out there, and he's had a fabulous career doing this. But he's a Pawtucket guy who played hockey and played at Lynch Arena. And so when this shooting took place, it goes around to all the hockey community, even up to the pros. doesn't he get a signed jersey for the Las Vegas Golden Knights? Has the whole team sign it.
Wow.
And send it to the team, or send it to Colin.
I said, great.
Wow, that's just so cool. So that's just so
I thought
cool.
I was waiting for the, almost like a joke, waiting for the punchline. I thought you were going to say he came down and did the announcing for the game.
Well, no, I mean the NHL
like,
season
wow.
NHL season is still going on.
I gotcha.
So no, he couldn't.
Again, don't know enough.
He
about
couldn't get
hockey.
away to do that, but he did what he could. He's out there. He's out there in
Absolutely.
Vegas, going, well, what can I do for this my hometown tragedy that has taken place? So he goes.
That's crazy.
Well, since they were named the Knights and we're the Knights, let's see if I can put something together. And he did,
Nice.
and went right to the players or right to their PR department and said, let's do this. And hockey players are extremely nice. And I've talked to sports writers, and you talk to them and said, out of the 4 major sports, you can even include 5 if you want to include soccer, who are the nicest athletes to talk with and just be around? And they all say, without a doubt, it's the hockey players. Are just the nicest people going. Until they get on the ice.
Well, I was just
great
going
to hear, but you see so many fights on the ice.
Yeah, but maybe it's because they get all their frustrations out on
the ice. That's right.
I mean,
all right.
They might, Bob. They may fight on the ice, but after the game, they're at the bar having a beer
yeah,
together.
I was just going to say they're going for a beer together.
It's unlike the other sports where they're just, baseball and basketball. I'm above you kind of thing. The athlete, some of them, not all of them, but some of them. I'm above the you peons down there that aren't as good as me. But hockey players are not like that. They're just a different breed, which I think is pretty cool. So when the word went out that I need this done, they just absolutely all step up and sign it. Is that all we can do? Can we do more? I don't know. And the Providence Bruins stepped forward, and the Boston Bruins stepped forward.
Yeah, they all did
for this team. So it was all very good. So good things came out of this tragedy, and amazingly that. They won the state championship, Blackston Valley Prep. So good for them.
Great.
There's my sports thing for the day. Okay, Bob.
So see, Bob, all you had to do was say, "Oh, that's wonderful."
Oh, that's wonderful.
Great.
That's right.
Nice
We didn't ask any questions about it.
Right. You didn't have to answer anything.
Well, I almost sound like intelligent on this.
Yeah, this conversation was perfect.
There you go.
That's a good thing Sue is here.
I replaced you this time. On this one.
All right, they're going to name the Senate chamber down in Providence in memory of former President of the Senate, Dominic Ruggiero. There's a big ceremony today. They've invited his family to come on down to the unveiling of a plaque that'll say you're in the Dominic J. Ruggiero Senate chambers. And the bishop's going to say a few words down there as well. So it's a big thing going on in Providence today down at the State House. They all convene at 4 this afternoon, and that's when the dedication will take place.
Nice.
So I don't know if it's open to the public, but that's what's going down there.
Has the Senate chambers ever been named after somebody?
I don't think it's ever been named after anybody.
Maybe,
so
that's a big deal.
So that's what they'll be doing down there today. So, and they're doing it specifically on St. Joseph's Day because his name is Dominic Ruggiero.
Need I say more?
A little bit of an Italian descent right there. All right,
Tell us
Bob.
about the bank robbery.
Tell us. Oh, Dave took that information from me.
All right.
He'd have to bring it back. Today's the anniversary of the very first bank robbery in recorded history in the United States. Happened in what did he say, 1835? Something like that.
Yeah.
I think in New York City, and they got away with $245,000. Imagine getting that much money. You might have been giving $245 million.
I want to know how they got away.
On a horse.
That's what I thought.
They didn't. There were no telephones. You couldn't call 911 for the police to go chase them. So they got a really good head start. Which way did they go?
They had
that way.
They had no video cameras.
No cameras? Yeah, what they look like? I don't know. They're wearing masks. So that's all the information I got on it right now. But here comes a good opinion piece for you there, Bob. All right, because Dave had the story this morning, and a man in Rhode Island was convicted of 2 murders when he was 18.
I'm going to talk about that in my commercial.
Oh, okay.
But I'll talk about it now.
All right. Oh, Dave's got it. Hang on.
Close.
Was it really
1831?
1831 on the first bank robbery? And how they found this guy, I don't know. His name is Edward Smith, so it's just one guy, not a group.
With such a common last name.
I know. Stole $245,000 from the City Bank of New York City in what became one of the country's very first bank robberies. So
must have gotten caught.
They must have gotten caught because we know who he is, and maybe he didn't wear a mask. They just went in and said, I don't know, stick him up. Made off with quite a bit of money.
The case you're talking about, the Chandler case.
Yeah.
It was going to be part of my commercials, but I'll talk about it anyway.
Do you want to do your commercial?
I can do both.
I'm saying you can take.
No, let's do both. Let's do both.
Okay.
Yeah. That case had a whole lot of interesting parts to it, other than the part that comes up for the Supreme Court decision.
Yeah.
Two guys are sitting in a car down in Providence. Somebody walks up to the car and shoots them and runs away. One of the people in the car dies. One of the people in the car survives. The police were able to discover that the car in which they were riding or shot had a GPS monitor on it. So they were able to track where that car had been prior to the shooting. They were able to get surveillance cameras from the various areas that showed where the car was. In one of the surveillance footages, they saw the defendant, Chandler, get out of another vehicle and approach the car that the two people were killed in. They were able to get the license plate number for the car that the defendant got out of, trace that back to the defendant's girlfriend, and then during interviews with the defendant's girlfriend, they got a whole lot of text messages that she had had with the defendant. And in the text messages, she kept telling him that he was the one who did the killing. And the defendant said, "No, I never did this," and he denied it all the way through. She was saying things that he was such a liar, he was going to go to jail, all these terrible things were going to happen to him. When the case came to trial, the prosecution brought the police officer in who'd done this investigation, and they introduced all these text messages between the defendant and the girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Now, in the text messages, the defendant always says, "I never did any of this." He denied it all the way through. The girlfriend keeps telling him how terrible he is, how he's a liar, he's all this kind of stuff, and they bring it before the jury. The defense asked the judge to throw this out. This has no real probative value. It's just a lot of comment between the two of them. Mm-hmm. He never says he did anything. Judge lets it go to trial in front of the jury. Jury convicts the defendant. Goes to Supreme Court. Supreme Court is saying that when you have evidence that has very little probative value, because nothing in that conversations, in those text messages, was an admission on his part that he'd actually done the crime. But it was a lot of things from the girlfriend saying what a terrible person he was and how he was dishonest and things like that. That had no probative value as to whether or not he had actually committed the crime. It had a lot of pejorative value as to saying what a terrible person he was. And the Supreme Court said, you don't have evidence here that's showing he did something. You're just muddying the waters by having these accusations made that have no foundation, and this prejudiced the jury. And so the Supreme Court has remanded the case back to Superior Court for another trial.
All right, on that note, let's take our first break here on the Coffee AM program, but more coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
ON 1240.
Your premier real estate expert is Scott McGee of the Stearns McGee team at RE/MAX Properties in North Smithfield. Scott has had extensive training and knows the latest real estate strategies. He can offer you knowledge and tools most other agents can't. To see the latest listings from the Stearns McGee team at RE/MAX Properties, visit this website, McGeeSoldMyHouse.com. Scott McGee of Stearns McGee team at RE/MAX Properties can help you buy or sell your home.
Oh boy, it's going to be a great weekend of great live music at Chan's on Main Street in Woonsocket. Join these legendary artists as they combine the music of three iconic musical genres for a special one-night-only event. A unique hybrid combination of blues, jazz, swamp rock, Tulsa sound, and soul that will mesmerize and energize you. It's three great tributes in one great night. 25 in advance and 30 at the door at Chan's. Then on Saturday night, get ready to party to the Jay Giles Band music with bassist Danny Klein and his band all night long. That's Danny Klein's Full House, 8 to 10 at Chan's on Saturday night, the 21st, 25 in advance, 30 at the door. And coming up on Friday the 27th, get ready for Duke Robillard's return to Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. And remember, Get the food. It's great.
The Coffee AM panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
All right, Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. We thank you for joining us this morning. Joe Callahan here, along with Bob Lauder and Sue Tessier-McKenzie. Guess what, Sue? Time for
It's
first
my
message
turn.
from
And
the Blackstone Valley Call-In-Times.
Blackstone Valley Call-In-Times. If you need anything, call me 401-487-4136. But I am once again giving the time to brain injury awareness, since it is still March. And many of you know my husband has an anoxic brain injury as well as several traumatic due to falls. But I did want to point something out. I ran into a friend of mine not too long ago. And, the pleasantries, hadn't seen her in a couple years. How's things, so on and so forth. How's your husband? She said, oh, we're divorced. And I said, you're kidding. I've always known them to be a caring, compassionate, loving couple. So I was extremely surprised when I heard that. She said, yeah, he suddenly became mean. And light bulbs went off in my head, and I said, didn't he have a car accident a couple years ago? And she said, yes. So airbags went off? Yes. He wasn't hurt. Airbags went off. Airbags go off anywhere from 100 to 220 miles per hour.
They blast out, yeah.
And when those things blast out in your face
Yes.
/ head, especially forehead, which is where your frontal temporal lobe is located, it can cause brain injury.
Yeah.
So basically, that could be what happened. I'm not saying it is, but it could quite seriously be that. So basically, if you know something, say something. And by that I mean, if there's a car accident, I don't care if there's no injuries, I don't care if you're not hurt, I don't care if there's no blood, and you walk away, you still need to be checked. Especially if the airbag goes off or you rolled, or because your brain can move in your head. And people don't understand that. It's a DAI. And only recently have ERs had a protocol in place to give information on brain injuries. And that's, when I say new, within the last year or 2 years, depending on which hospital. Locally, it's been within the past year. So if you know something, say something, ask something. That is why I talk so much about brain injury awareness.
All right, Sue. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and when my mother was alive, she was always worried about getting into a car accident with airbags because she didn't want to hit the airbag.
Right.
She always said, "I want to get my hands up first to block it." I said, "By the time you got your hands up, Mom, you'll have hit the airbag and then been shot back to the seat, and then your hands are going to go up." I said, "You can't believe how fast these things come
Absolutely.
out." So she was never in an accident, so it was
Thankfully,
never an issue. All right, Bob. Here we go. Here's the deal. There's a man in Rhode Island.
What I was talking was all wrong
Well,
face.
but it was a good story, though.
Wrong face, good story.
There's a man in Rhode Island. He was convicted of 2 murders
Okay.
back in the day. He's now seeking parole under Rhode Island's new law, the Rhode Island's Youthful Offender Act. Okay? Mm-hmm. The man is now 45. His name is Charles Pona, but he was 18 when the crimes took place. He was 18 when he killed a man by the name of Hector Feliciano in 1999. And then the following year, he ordered somebody else to go murder a 15-year-old witness. So he's convicted on both cases. All right? Mm-hmm. And he was sentenced to serve 2 consecutive life sentences. And he has since been denied parole when it comes up. But now he wants to get out again under this new the Rhode Island's Youthful Offender Act. He argues that under the law that was passed in 2021, he should be eligible for early release. Under the law, inmates sentenced before their 22nd birthday may qualify for early release after serving at least 20 years of their sentence. So it looks like he fits into this category.
He's be considered for early release. It doesn't mean he's entitled to it.
May qualify, for early release. Right. Okay. Should he? Should he not? I'm just
I
asking
think
what you think on
up
this.
to the parole board.
Yeah.
But I think that their analysis as to whether or not he's eligible for early release is going to be based on what they determine to be his character now, whether or not he's poses a threat to the community, a number of things. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he should be eligible since he was convicted and sentenced, and then years later this new law comes in? Should it apply to him?
Retroactively?
Yes.
I would imagine that the way in which the law has been crafted, it does apply retroactively.
It does.
I haven't read the law. I don't know.
Okay.
But I would expect it's retroactive. But it does not necessarily mean he's going to be walking free right away.
Well, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, he's got to get a good lawyer and go argue the point that he should get parole. Yeah, it's like when you hear nowadays, people that have been convicted for drug possession when they were carrying, I don't know, maybe a half a pound of marijuana, and now marijuana is legal. Well, why am I still in prison if the substance is now legal, kind of thing? Obviously, it's not murder,
right?
but it's kind of the same principle, I guess. So we'll see if he gets out. Does the name Charles Pona, does that ring a bell on the murders
Not
in
at all.
1999? Okay, well, that's what he's thinking. That's what he's thinking down there. All right, now, last week we had the story from the Rhode Island Department of Health that there was a drug overdose spike in the western part of the state, Burrillville, Foster, Gloucester, that area. Mm-hmm. That was last week. That was the story we had that last week. It goes back to the beginning of the month. Now the DOH says nope. Now it's the whole state. Now it's all of us. For 1 week, from March 10th to March 16th, we've hit a threshold for a statewide alert. The state averaged 41 non-fatal overdoses a week. Rhode Island's last statewide alert was in 2023. Health officials encourage residents to stay informed, help reduce carrying naloxone and all that stuff. Last week, between March 10th and March 16th, there were 55 reports of people receiving care for suspected drug overdose. And since that's over the threshold of 41, it's a statewide thing.
Do they explain which drugs are involved?
It's usually fentanyl.
Yeah. Come on. It doesn't say, but they want you to carry around the naloxone, which is supposed to help you with it's like Narcan.
Yeah, and
it's supposed to help with the fentanyl.
Surviving overdose death. I'm going to say this correctly. Surviving overdose is up due to that.
The naloxone.
Narcan.
Okay, the Narcan. And fentanyl test strips. I don't know what those are.
Well, fentanyl breaks the blood-brain barrier.
Okay.
So when a person overdoses, the brain is hit first. Mm-hmm. However, they present as cardiac arrest because they're unconscious. If you give a person that has a drug overdose CPR, not knowing that they had drugs, it's not going to help them. They have to have Narcan. If you give Narcan to an individual that has cardiac arrest, it won't help them either, but it won't hurt them.
Oh, all right.
It won't hurt them.
Yeah.
So when again, back to the not knowing, so drug overdoses are also part of the anoxic brain injuries.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, the DOH...
We have Sue for the legal and the medical?
And medical.
This is great.
I know that, the DOH wants us all to carry around this Narcan, and...
Where does one get that?
Go to CVS.
Yeah.
Really?
You can get it.
There are some places that will give it to you depending on your line of work.
Oh, yeah. I guess EMT should have it. Cops should have it. Firefighters should have it. I agree with that.
Even teachers. They want teachers to have it.
Okay.
So some places will give it to you.
So, yeah.
Now, how does it administer?
It goes up your nose.
Nasal.
It would be easy to administer for us, the public. It's rather simple. But would you still want to do it? For someone having a seizure on the ground? I don't know. It's not my forte.
Well, they typically aren't. They're just usually...
Are they passed out?
Based on what I was told, because I've never experienced or seen either. But based on what I was told, they're just
out. Okay.
For those of you who aren't looking at it,
you look passed out.
Just put my head back, close my eyes. They're passed out.
Okay.
Which is why you don't know what's happening.
Right. Yeah. All right, then. Let's see. Other things going on. I found this interesting. Since the year 2022, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, abortion rates in Massachusetts have doubled. Why do you think this is?
I would imagine it's because people from states where Roe v. Wade, the anti-abortion laws have been inflicted, have moved to Rhode Island. Moved to Massachusetts, rather, for that purpose.
They haven't even moved. They're just coming from other states where it's where it's illegal.
Okay.
That's part of the problem. Not part of the problem. That's part of the issue. You're right. Out-of-state patients are now outnumbering Massachusetts residents in abortion cases. The other factor is the rapid expansion of telehealth services that allow providers to prescribe abortion pills.
Oh,
has gone way up too. So they consider that if you what is that pill called?
I have no idea.
It's the day after pill.
Yeah,
that's in layman's terms, that's what that one's called. All
right.
So if you get prescribed that, you're considered to have had an abortion, I guess.
All right, but if I'm getting the prescription, I'm coming to Massachusetts to get it from some other state.
Say it again?
If I'm getting the prescription for this particular medicine,
yes,
I must be coming from another state to Massachusetts to have it prescribed?
Well, not necessarily. I guess you could be out in Western Mass and you're talking to a doctor, let's say in Boston, over the phone or over your Zoom.
And Mass, you're still in Mass. He's talking
I'm talking about, and I don't know which particular states have legalized abortion, but if I chose one of those states, and then I would be consulting with a doctor in Massachusetts to get the prescription.
I think if they're coming from out of state, they're actually coming here to have the procedure done, not looking for a prescription.
Okay.
According to the Massachusetts...
But the question now would be, based on what you're saying, Bob, will a pharmacy fill that prescription if the state doesn't allow abortions?
Probably not.
Right.
Well, if you say you're Sue Tessier McKenzie, you live in Texas, but you give them a Massachusetts address, how are they going to know?
But there are it's very easy, because even in the state, Rhode Island versus Mass, if certain medications can only be prescribed within the state of Rhode Island, certain ones that that Ron has had. I couldn't have it filled. Our CVS is the one in Blackstone because it's closer to home, but they couldn't fill certain prescriptions.
Okay, well, I guess if you're from out of state, I guess you're coming here for the procedure, and the in-state people are getting the prescription. I guess, according to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, there was a 103% increase in abortions from 2023 to 2024.
Wow!
But you're saying the pill is part of that.
Yes, the day after pill and the actual procedures as well. So that's what's going. I don't have the issues. I don't have the data for what's happening in Rhode Island. So this is just what Massachusetts has put out. So wow, amazing, huh? Let's see. Back to our guy that wants to be paroled.
Yes.
We got a note called in 766-1240. Caller says they hope the Rhode Island Parole Board remembers that convict Pona killed his victim and cut the victim's hands off, and then ordered a witness, a 15-year-old girl, killed by someone else. This should be remembered.
Absolutely.
I would imagine it certainly will be.
I hope that gets brought up.
Well, like all the circumstances surrounding the conviction should be
brought up.
Absolutely.
To the parole board. Okay. How many people are on the parole board, Bob? Do you know?
I do not know.
5, 7...
I've never had a client that had to go.
Okay, just wondering. All right, let's take a break here on the Coffee AM program, and we'll continue with more. But Sue, time for a second message from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times.
Okay, if you're looking for back issues, we have been getting the papers regularly, the daily papers. So if you're looking for a back edition, you can give me a call at 401-487-4136, or you can call Christina at 767-8503. If you're looking to promote your business, get some advertising, whether it's print or digital, friends to follow on Facebook, anything of the sort, then call my cell phone at 401-487-4136.
All right, Sue, thanks. Time for a look at the forecast right now, which is being brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 43 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 29 degrees. Friday's weather, mostly sunny, high of 54 with a light west breeze. Friday night, rain is likely, 70% chance, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 39 degrees. Between a quarter and a half an inch of rain is possible to fall Friday night. Saturday, a little leftover rain early in the morning. Otherwise, partly sunny Saturday with a high of 56 degrees. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 57 with a 30% chance of a shower. Sunday night, 60% chance of rain, 50% chance of rain on Monday, mostly cloudy and 44. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies and 42. And on Wednesday, mostly sunny, high near 47 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have sunny skies, and at least we're above freezing. We're at 34 degrees. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. Your car will look showroom fresh when you bring it to Executive Auto Wash. Whether it's a quick exterior wash or a full service detail, Executive Auto Wash makes your ride sparkle inside and out. With state-of-the-art equipment, fast service, and attention to every detail, you'll drive away shining in minutes. Be sure to ask them about how you can have monthly unlimited washes. Don't settle for ordinary. Treat your car like royalty at Executive Auto Wash, Winter Street, Woonsocket. Executive Auto Wash, where a clean car is always in style.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. ON AM and FM.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Sue Tesher-McKenzie and Bob Lauder. And Bob, it is time for our first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The Rhode Island State Supreme Court has been busy during the last several weeks and issued a number of decisions. I'd like to discuss several of them with you this morning. The first case is that of Buckman v. Woodward and was decided on Monday of this week. This is a case involving a claim by a neighbor for adverse possession of a portion of an abutting neighbor's real estate. The plaintiff and the defendant lived next door to each other in South Kingstown. The plaintiff alleged that over a period of time he'd been planting trees on a portion of the defendant's abutting land and had been making use of the land, all without securing the permission of the owner. The plaintiff argued that this use of the land granted to him adverse possession of that portion of the real estate. The defendant objected, and the case went to trial. Now, while the ultimate decision of the court was based upon the analysis of the conflicting testimony of the parties, the manner in which adverse possession may be established remains clear. In Rhode Island, obtaining title by adverse possession requires actual, open, notorious, hostile, continuous, and exclusive use of the property under the claim of the right for at least 10 years. A possessor's use is hostile if it is a use inconsistent with the right of the owner without permission being asked or given, such as would entitle the owner to a cause of action against the intruder for trespass. Hostility of possession is necessary to establish adverse possession and implies denial of the owner's title and possession, however open or long it may be, but this is not adverse without the denial of the owner's title. The pertinent inquiry centers upon the claimant's objective manifestations of adverse rather than one on the claimant's knowledge that they lacked colorable legal title. you think my office may be assisting you with legal matters? Please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney. It's an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. All right, taking a look at other things going on, newsworthy-wise, up there in Boston, the Boston City Council is considering letting non-citizens vote in local elections. The proposal would grant immigrants partial legal status to vote in local elections, but not full citizenship. On Wednesday, council member Julia Magia said nearly 30% of the city's population would be granted voting rights. 30% of the population in Boston is illegal immigrants? 30%?
I would think... I'm surprised at that part. But also, I'm surprised that the state legislature would be considering such an act, because right now...
it's the city, not the state.
The city, rather. Right now, the president is pushing his Protect America Act about having validations as to citizenship in order to vote in presidential elections.
And they're going in the opposite direction here.
Yeah, and I would think that would only cloud the waters a whole lot, because people would be making allegations, well, since I was allowed to vote once in this city election, I've been able to sneak in and vote in the presidential election as well.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I hope that doesn't pass, but that won't really affect me. But 30% sounds really, really, really high. Has anyone had to fly recently?
No.
Yes.
Yeah?
But not since the TSA.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying, because 30 New England TSA workers have quit. Well, how long can you work and not get paid?
Exactly.
and it's tough to pay the bills.
Yeah.
When you're not getting, so a local union says over 30 New England TSA workers have now quit amid the shutdown. The partial federal shutdown is raising concerns about staffing levels at regional airports if the funding impasse continues. The union president said people are running out of money. Yeah. And they need to find something else to do just to make that up. However, he said, so far, Logan in Boston has not experienced a significant staffing strain like the rest of New England. I'm not sure about what's going on down at Green on this. Yeah. He also warns that the situation could get worse if the shutdown continues. I just want to...
sadly, when you think about it, if they're using their savings, etc., to maintain their mortgages and rent and food and all that stuff, when they do get paid, they're not putting that money back.
They're not getting back pay?
It's not about getting back pay. It's about, realistically, it's like they're not putting the money back into where it was saved.
Okay.
You know, people say that once you spend whatever you had saved, and the windfall comes back, like if I take money out of a savings for a reason, like temporarily, I'm going to put it back. But when you've used so much of it, it doesn't all go back.
Okay, yeah.
I wish there would be more discussions between the president and the Senate regarding compromise on these issues, but apparently both sides are...
Well, you would think if it's affecting the TSA payments, that means it's going to affect the general population.
Of course.
Because the line that I've seen the pictures of lines at other airports, Orlando for one, is just out of control. It's always out of control,
right,
but it's worse. It's worse than ever.
They're in parking garages.
Yeah, you would think that would get them to clear out the impasse, but it doesn't seem to be working.
I don't think they're talking substantively about that.
Yeah, great. But speaking of airports, and Tim Draper, that's on Coffee In on Wednesdays, brought this up because he was just there. The sailboat that's at TF Green Airport, is not there anymore, because they're doing a ton of reconstruction down there, right where the sailboat is, which is also where the baggage claim area is. So it was in the way of what they were doing, mostly with the floors and things like that. So they took it out, but it was removed for work to update the terminal flooring near the information booth. Channel 10 reports a decision on its fate once renovations are complete is pending. Right now, the sailboat is at New England Boat Works in Portsmouth. Well, I say bring it back.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know why is it pending. This should be Why would you not?
Shouldn't have even been a question.
Why are we not bringing it back?
Why is that even a conversation?
Maybe we just need more space for those illustrations of the quahogs or whatever else we had down there.
Well, we put those up on the wall, so that's okay. But when not that I went to the airport a lot, but I always enjoyed seeing. I go, there's a great symbol of the state.
Right.
There's this beautiful sailboat.
Yes, I agree with you.
So when people coming in from out of the state see it and say, isn't that a nice looking boat? Hey, we can go sailing in the state.
And frequently they had somebody playing the piano down there too, which was
that person is still there.
Okay,
playing the piano. Says he's very good. Tim said he's a volunteer. He doesn't even get paid to do it. He just shows up and plays, and takes requests. I said that's such a great idea. So, all right. So that's what's going on at Green. If you're wondering where the boat went, we'll see if it comes back when they finish construction down there. And we had an altercation in Pawtucket between two neighbors. It became violent on Tuesday. Police responded to Pawtucket Avenue. One man was seriously injured. The other man's injuries were reportedly minor, and it was unclear if any charges would be filed. Just people get into an argument, Bob, and next thing you know, someone's injured. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Doesn't say what. Doesn't say if any weapons were used or anything like that. It just sounds like they just get into fisticuffs.
Jeez.
That's my tree.
Right.
No, that's my tree.
I keep kicking Bob. I kicked him during the commercial, and I almost said sorry, but then I realized, wait a minute, no, he's giving his commercial. I just did it again.
So I don't know if you're following this. I'm following it a little, but the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey, and the governor of New Hampshire what is her name? Kelly Ayotte. I guess they don't like each other. They're really throwing jabs at each other. They're not hitting each other.
Over what?
But Boston. Well, I'll tell you. Boston always has their St. Patrick's Day breakfast in Boston, where a lot of jokes are told over the weekend. And Governor Maura Healey mocked New Hampshire. She displayed a phony billboard image that read "Live free and dumb." All right, a mock on the Granite State motto of "Live free or die." Governor Kelly Ayotte shrugged it off, telling a Manchester TV station, saying people are not going to stop leaving Massachusetts for lower taxes and a better quality of life. The verbal jabbing is ongoing between the two governors, with Ayotte using the 2024 campaign slogan, "Don't mass up New Hampshire."
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Maura Healey
sounds funny.
She's all happy. Gillette has made a very big commitment to stay in Boston, and then Hasbro is going up there, so she's touting that and like that. But Kelly Ayotte is saying, how many businesses have left Massachusetts to come to New Hampshire? That's what she's touting, and don't think more aren't coming. So they're basically going back and forth of who's better, you or me, my state or your state. So there you go. And this happened. This was up in Walpole, Massachusetts. You know where the Walpole Mall is?
No.
It's right on Route 1. There's a Barnes and Noble bookstore there. I think it's the last Barnes and Noble ever, but there is one there.
Yeah, okay. You're calling it a mall, but is it actually a strip mall?
Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, there's a Target there. There's a few other restaurants. Anyway, so an unusual car theft is under investigation in that town. 2 men reportedly stole a vehicle at the Walpole Mall Monday night, even though it was already occupied at the time. So it's not really stealing a car. It sounds like a carjacking. 2 young women were able to get out of the car and fled into a mall restaurant, where the staff called 911. Channel 25 reported. Sorry, I cannot answer the phone right now. Fox 25 reported no one was hurt, no items were stolen, and the car was recovered still in the same parking lot. They never...
Jeez.
That's gonna fall under the stupid criminals thing.
I don't know.
I remember when they used to do that on Channel 10, and they had the Frank Coletta would do the
dumb criminals,
stupid criminals.
So I don't know if they left the mall and came back,
or they couldn't get out of the
parking lot, or decided this was a bad idea. Let's just leave. So nice try.
The passengers in the car, were they in the back seat?
No, they must have been in the back seat. Waiting for, I don't know, someone ran into, I don't know, Target.
Right.
Target
somebody,
to make a return.
Could have been in a store.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. And they hopped in and, but people still leave their keys in the ignition, which just boggles my mind.
I got to say, when like I'll go into a place of business, or whatever the case is. I'm going to run into the Little General to get a soda. If Ron's in the car, he always locks the door. And I was always like, what are you doing? And it's like, no, really, realistically, it's good that he does that because of these situations. The car could be running just because he's an adult that can be seen in the car. People can still try to carjack it. So it's good that he locks the doors.
I'll go to Cumberland Farms with my wife, gonna get a gallon of milk or whatever, and I'll take the keys out of the ignition and I'll leave. If I don't lock the car, she will.
Yeah.
Because I always come back and like, I can't get in.
Right.
And then as a joke, I just say, don't talk to strangers when I leave the car. Good. And she says I won't, so good for her. All right, going to take a break here on the Coffee AM program and more coming up. So right now, Bob, time for a second message from your law office.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. This is the commercial that details what we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. Frequently, the decisions of the Rhode Island Supreme Court, which I discuss with you, may appear to be merely confirmation of the findings of trials which took place in the Superior Court. However, this is not always the case, and the following case illustrates this. This is the case of Chandler and the state, and was decided this week. In the Chandler case, 2 individuals were shot while sitting in a parked car. One of them survived, and one died. During the investigation after the incident, police discovered a GPS tracker on the car. This discovery led them to review surveillance cameras in the areas where the vehicle had been prior to the incident, and the police saw the defendant pass by the car. The videos showed the license plate of the car from which the defendant emerged before passing by the car of the victims, and they traced that car's owner. That owner was the girlfriend of the defendant. And during a sequence of contacts, the police located about 150 text messages between the girlfriend and the defendant. Some of those messages included accusations by the girlfriend that the defendant had committed the murder, and the defendant's denial of the accusation. At trial, the police officer who conducted the text message portion of the investigation offered to read the text messages to the jury. The defendant objected and argued that the messages should be excluded from the jury. The trial justice overruled the objection, and the messages were provided to the jury. After conviction, the defendant filed an appeal to the state Supreme Court. He argued that the trial justice was in error when she permitted the text messages to be presented to the jury. Now remember, the defendant kept denying his involvement in the crime, while the girlfriend kept making accusations against him. The defendant argued that those accusations and the opinions of the girlfriend regarding the defendant's veracity were irrelevant, and the inflammatory nature constituted prejudice that outweighed any probative value. The Supreme Court agreed with the defendant. It wrote, "Our precedent makes plain, however, that it is only evidence that is marginally relevant and enormously prejudicial that must be excluded. A defendant seeking to overturn a trial justice's admission of the evidence under Rule 403 analysis has a high hurdle to clear." The court concluded that the text messages, which included the girlfriend's worry about the defendant spending the rest of his life incarcerated, were prejudicial and had no place before the jury. The court wrote, "We're unable to say beyond a reasonable doubt that the jury would have convicted the defendant without the girlfriend's text messages." If you think my office may be assistant to legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
So what I take away from this, Bob, if I were to commit a crime,
right,
and someone texts me and says, "I know you committed this crime," the best thing for me to do is not to respond at all.
Probably. Yep.
Don't say yes, don't say no.
Although
leave it alone.
He kept saying no, I didn't do it.
I know, but it didn't seem to work out for him.
Well, the girlfriend in the text messages doubted his credibility.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, more coming up on the Coffee AM program. Also, the other takeaways: don't break the law, right?
Well, yeah, that's the basic.
That's a given.
But
right.
WOON 1240.
Serving the highest quality roast beef sandwiches daily is the Beef Barn. You can also kickstart your morning by stopping into the Pound Hill Creamery and Cafe on the premises of the Beef Barn. Enjoy coffee, tea, homemade muffins, scones, fresh fruit, and other breakfast goodies. The cafe is open from 6 a.m. until 11 a.m. The Beef Barn opens at 11. Be sure to visit their website, thebeefbarn.com.
Visit the Beef Barn and the Pound Hill Creamery and Cafe in North Smithfield, 200 Industrial Drive. Visit the Beef Barn in Bellingham, 160 Pulaski Boulevard.
When you're ill and need same-day care, remember North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care for affordable and accessible care. You'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who will assess the problem and make you feel safe and reassured. Check their websites for convenient patient and medical forms, which you may fill out before the visit. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, 768-3400. And Lincoln Urgent Care, 2 Wake Robin Road, Lincoln, 333-9595.
Hello, my name is Paul LaValle. I am a Knight of Columbus from Council 113. We are having a Palm Sunday breakfast March 29th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at Good Shepherd School Gym, 1210 Mendon Road, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Adult tickets are $15. Children 5 to 12 are $10. Under 5 are free. Proceeds go to support Council 113 Knights of Columbus charities. The menu consists of scrambled eggs, home fries, baked beans, bacon, pancakes, coffee, and juice. Thank you for your support. Looking forward to seeing you there. You can purchase tickets from any Knight of Columbus or call 401-651-5533.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Sue Tess McKenzie's got to go. Bye, Sue.
I can say bye.
You can say bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of the week.
Thanks, Sue. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
So it's me and Bob now.
Oh, my God.
This is what's going on, Bob. Here we go. Other things going on around the country. This is kind of surprises me. There is a study out by Wallet Hub that ranked the most obese cities in the United States. And at the very bottom, 100 out of 100. And 100 being bad, you don't want to be down there. Honolulu is ranked as the most obese city in the United States. Most overweight and obese cities in the nation. The study compared 100 of the most populated U.S. metro areas across 19 indicators tied to weight and health, including physical inactivity, access to healthy food, and percentage of diabetic adults. Wow. And Honolulu is the worst.
That's incredibly surprising.
It is to me. I guess not everybody surfs in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And are they just eating pork and pineapple? I don't know. I thought pineapple was good for you, but it's kind of sugary, I guess. So it's surprising. And coming in at the bottom, Little Rock, Arkansas, McAllen, Texas, and Memphis, Tennessee. Although they say they're at the top of the list. Maybe those are the good places. So I don't know. Okay. But Honolulu at the bottom is just wow. I wouldn't have picked that.
No. It's not a survey that I'd really even thought about.
University of Notre Dame in Indiana, they'll begin to offer free tuition to some students next school year. A lot of schools are starting to do this. The university announced Wednesday that beginning with the 2026-27 academic year, most students from families with an annual income below $60,000 will receive need-based financial aid that covers tuition and fees and housing and food. So basically all you're buying is your books, which is great. The initiative will also benefit students whose family have an annual income below $150,000. They'll receive need-based financial aid that covers the cost of tuition. Meanwhile, families with income below $200,000 will receive aid that covers half the cost of tuition. So they're doing something good there. Always got to be on the lookout for schools that say, we're going to offer you free tuition. Is that it? Because tuition sometimes is like $600 a semester. The fees are $20,000. So, we're going to give you free tuition. Sounds great.
Yeah.
But you really got to include the fees. And this one in Notre Dame with the fees and the housing and the food. All right, that's a bargain for students that are going to go there.
School costs a tremendous amount of money in some places.
Sure does.
I received a solicitation from the law school that I went to down in Virginia. And among the other things was saying that the tuition is like over $80,000 a year, and then of course there'd be other fees too. Like, wow, that's incredible.
So what do you send them $50? Here you go.
No, you're thinking of be that generous? Come on, man.
All right. How about this? Now down in Florida, it is still legal for first cousins to get married. They're one of a few states that still allow this. And it comes after lawmakers failed to pass a bill in the state Senate that would have banned, quote unquote, incestuous marriage for any purpose beginning July 1st, 2026. It failed.
I would imagine
July 1st.
There's physiological reasons why you tried to discourage that.
Yeah. Florida is one of more than a dozen states where marrying your first cousin is legal, but most of the United States has banned such marriages. State Congressman Dean Black told Florida's Action News that he expects another vote on the same issue sometime in the future. So this is not going away down there. They really want to get rid of it. And it's just, for some reason, it just keeps failing. So,
does the concept of dumb voters have anything to do with this?
Well, this is not even the voters. This is the Senate. It can't,
well, they're voters
pass.
too.
Well, yeah, it just can't pass, and I don't know why. So Rhode Island does not have the monopoly on when bad teachers do stupid things. We just had something happen a couple of weeks ago where a teacher's aide is accused of slapping special needs students in the head. She's been removed from her position. A Louisiana teacher is in hot water for the way he disciplined his elementary school students. George Serban, this is what he would do. He would put Band-Aids on kids' mouths when they would not stop talking in class. Not a terrible thing to do. It's not going to cause any real serious harm. It's going to make the kid look kind of silly to his other classmates. Police say the kids range in age from 8 to 10. So we're looking like 2nd to 4th grade around there. He's charged with battery and child cruelty. Does this fall under battery under Rhode Island law, Bob?
I would imagine it would. Because it's actually a touching, and it's done with malicious intent in some regard, yeah.
Is malicious intent in order to keep the child quiet? Is that malicious intent?
I think that, I think you'd have a problem there.
Okay. Child cruelty, that could be anything. That seems so vague. Is it cruel? I don't know.
I would imagine, from the teacher's point of view, the obstreperous kid is interfering with the other kids learning anything.
Yeah.
And is probably really, really annoying. And the teacher thought this was the least of the things that they could do to them. Bury him in the backyard behind the playground would probably be the first thought of the teacher.
Well, you can't do that either.
Yeah.
So you would think now, especially I'm gonna sound sexist here, Bob. You would think that the male teacher in an elementary school would have a lot more control over their students. They're just larger and they have a bigger booming voice.
Remember Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he comes in and
that's a funny movie.
Terrorizes the little guys, and
he goes home. They're horrible. All right, there's that as well. So, all right. So for all you fledgling, I'll have to pass this along to my daughter who wants to be an elementary school teacher. You can't put Band-Aids on the kids' mouths unless they're bleeding. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. All right. We already know this department. Here we go. A doctor is highlighting the health benefits of taking a walk after you eat.
All right.
Well, yeah. Gastroenterologist Jessica Philpott with the Cleveland Clinic says walking right after a meal can shorten the amount of time that food sits in your stomach. She also says it can improve symptoms of reflux, abdominal pain, and other issues. Going for a walk after a meal can also help with gastrointestinal issues and glucose control. Philpott says it can be helpful to walk 15 to 30 minutes after eating.
Wow. All right.
But what if it's raining,
I have to tell you, there's some people in my neighborhood, one of them being a girl that I went to high school with. They go out every morning walking. And it must be quite a distance because I see them in various parts of the neighborhood, and it's virtually every day.
Well, there you go. My wife and I were doing that for a little while. You know, if we want to walk for half an hour, well, just time yourself. Walk in that direction for 15 minutes. Don't stop. And when you hit 15 minutes, turn around and walk back half an hour.
You're a scholar.
Pretty simple, huh?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
How often do you do this now?
Well,
no. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's good to
for
talk
some reason,
about it. But
yeah, it sounds great on paper. Something always happens right around
the time you're putting on your coat,
mid-December, because it just gets so cold out, and I keep waiting for March. Can we get above 40 degrees to go out and go walking?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had that fantastic day.
I know.
74 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nice. That was real nice.
Got rid of some of the snow.
Yep. Did we go walking? No. Because we like to go walk. You know, we like to find the bike path. And towns and cities, and I understand this, they don't plow bike paths when there's a big storm. They need to be somewhere else. Streets, sidewalks, far more important than the bike path. So we had to wait for the bike paths and tracks to melt on their own.
That was like 3 weeks ago. But
I would give it about 2, and then but then it got cold again, and I've had a doctor say, "Well, just put a coat on." Oh well, if you're going to use logic, I mean, let's put an end to that right there. All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Always appreciate it. Bob Leiter, thanks for coming on in today.
Thank you for inviting me, and I hope Sue's back next week because it's always fun to have her here.
It is, because she looks stuff up for us. Thanks, Sue.
Yes.
And thanks to Sue Tessier because for being here as well. I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember us coming up after the 9 o'clock news here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio.